he is a product of Cloudboosta himself. So we bring testimony, live testimonies for you all to listen to and have conversations with. Tobi currently works with Peerless SGS, where he drives cloud enterprise solution sales and go-to-market strategy for innovative financial solutions that power banks, fintech, and enterprises across Africa. Please, a round of applause. You can celebrate Tobi with emojis in the comment section as I hand over the mic to Tobi so that he will come dive deeper on the topic today, which is cloud career path and what you need to know. Mr. Tobi, can you hear me?
Hi, Cornelius. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Tobi. We are super glad to have you. The mic is yours now.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I hope I'm audible. If you can hear me, please put your favorite emoji in the chat box. Just for me to know I'm audible. And that intro was a bit flattering. Just to bring it down a bit, I'll tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. Yeah, I've seen a lot of excitement. Hi guys, it's good to meet everyone. Like Cornelius said, I'm a product of Cloudboosta myself. So, hey God, to speak about Cloudboosta to speak here at Cloudboosta is a joy for me. Grateful to the leadership team, grateful to Gbemi, aka everybody, who has, thought it well for me to, grace this webinar. It's good to be here with you guys. It's good to, of course, to have the opportunity to maybe show you ways around this whole tech career thing, right? I don't like slides much, but I mean I'm going to share a little. I'm going to share some slides, but I don't like slides much, so I'll probably be talking more than what you see on the screen. But before we go there, maybe a little more about myself, so that I can be more relatable to you. I know that most people that are here are either looking to switch careers, or looking to transition, or are just really curious about this cloud thing, what it's about, whether there's an opportunity for you in it, and all of that. And that's what we're going to talk about. I usually like the session interactive, but before I start to really engage you guys, I'll tell you more about myself. My name is Tobi Salako, like Cornelius said. I work as a cloud enterprise sales manager with PLS, and I'll tell you what that really is about, right? Because I'm sure that just mentioning that role, people are a little curious, right, about what that's about. But that's what I work as now. But I studied industrial and production engineering in school, right? I went to University of Ibadan, studied industrial and production engineering. Again, it's called the Faculty of Tech, but I really feel like it should have been called maybe Faculty of Traditional Engineering or so, because what we know as tech today is not, what I learned, right? I did a lot of playing with wires and all of that, right? I studied industrial and production engineering, worked a little bit as an automation engineer. This also, again, I know there are automation specialists and automation engineers within the software world, but this particular one I did had nothing to do with software. Okay, this was me fixing factory machines and automating assembly lines and things like that, right? Did a little bit of that, and then I got curious, right? Just like you, I got curious about what more is out there apart from what I studied, just creating a natural path for me, right? And of course, I did a little research. Okay, I hope I'm clear. I did a little research, see this buzz that is in tech. People are learning to code front end, people are learning to code back end, some people are doing UI, UX, some people are somewhere in between, right? And I'm worried, I'm like, where am I going to fit in, right, in all of this, right? I remember at that time, Cloudboosta had just started, and it was, for me, honestly, a leap of faith. I delved into Cloudboosta, without even having as much information as you probably, already have about Cloudboosta, and, without having any of this context that, I'm going to bring in this session, right? And it was a leap of faith because, of course, I done a little research. I was seeing this buzzword, this cloud, this, what is it even about? Right. And I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. I mean, what do you have to lose? Right. And of course, dove headlong into that. And it was such an interesting journey, whirlwind of a journey, but incredible journey. Like I wouldn't do it any other way. Right. So I became a certified solutions architect, right? Did my AWS exam, all of that, all of that. Actually worked with Cloudboosta for a bit, right? Of course, started getting, interesting conversations with other organizations that wanted to employ me for this particular skill, right? Of course, became with Cloudboosta as well, became a DevOps engineer, started doing a little advisory here and advisory there, just with people that were within my network, right? Okay, this is what I know. Let's talk about it. Or you're building something, and I realized that I'm able to draw a line between what I know and what you're building, right? And then, the conversation gets fuller, and before you know it, somebody's interested in, me coming to work for them and things like that, right? I'll tell you a little more about how I got into tech sales, right? How I got into, this whole world of cloud and enterprise sales. Maybe as we go along. But just to get the room a little more lively, I would share my screen and engage you guys with some of the slides I have on here. Okay, please let me know you can see my screen. And I mean, I like maybe your favorite emoji, or just let me know that you can see my screen. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. I can see that you can see my screen. And I like the excitement in the chat box too. That is absolutely incredible. That with that type of energy, you guys are going to do amazing. Right. So we're going to talk about, cloud career paths and what you need to know. But first of all, before we jump into that, I'll just engage you with, a few this or that, right? I think this was the first one. So just engage in the chat box. Let me see what you think. Job security or job freedom? Freedom. Let me see what you think. Freedom. Okay, freedom. I see. Job security. Interesting. Okay, job security. Good, good. You need both. Interesting take. Okay, job security, job security. Okay, I'm seeing job security. I'm seeing job freedom. I'm not sure which one is more. Okay, somebody says both. Somebody says both job security and freedom. Very interesting take. Very interesting take. I don't, I mean, it's not for me to to give a particular response right now. Let's try another one. Stability or growth? Stability or growth? Let's see. Growth, both. You know how either or works, right? You can't keep saying both. So if you had to pick one, growth, okay. Stability, growth, okay. Okay, interesting, interesting. Love the engagement. Well done, everybody. Stability. But why stability though? Or why growth if that's what you've chosen? Stability, growth. I think it's half and half with this one. Okay, passion or money? Mm. Money, of course, of course. Money. And I'm not saying money is not important. Mm. Money, oh. Money, please. Passion and money. Money. Okay, okay, okay. I was expecting someone to say my passion is money. Okay, you get passion where money is involved. Yeah, me too, me too. Passion will bring money. Interesting take again. Money and then passion can come. Seems like a very practical person, Mary Linda. Money, oh. Okay. Oh. That's good. That's good. Let's see one more. Comfort zone or challenge zone. Comfort zone or challenge zone. Challenge zone. Challenge zone. Money pulls passion along. Okay. Challenge zone. Challenge. Challenge zone. Okay. Challenge zone. More. Good. Okay. Challenge zone. Challenge zone. I think this is the one where we have a landslide one-sided answer. Challenge zone. Challenge zone. Then I should tell you you're absolutely in the right place. Relevance or impact? Relevance or impact? Impact. Go to the achievement challenge zone. Okay, both. Impact, both. Okay. Good answers. Well done, everyone. Last question. This isn't a this or that. When is it too late to start over? Just want to hear your takes. As someone said, impactful relevance. Never too late. Someone said 90 years. Well, never too late. Last breath. Yikes. Where did you people find this crowd of people? This is amazing. Well done, everyone. Well done. Great. Yeah, I agree with you. It's never really too late to start over. I know a few people who have changed. I know a few people who have changed careers even in their 40s, right? 40s. I think there was one particular cohort in Cloudboosta where we had somebody maybe in her early 50s, right, who had been a nurse for most of her life and, wanted to see what this cloud thing was about and how it could be applicable in her current field. And this is really, what we're going to delve a little into today. Maybe one more question to ask you guys. Of course, this one is not on my slide, but do you ever get worried, right, that the world will somehow leave you behind? Do you ever get worried? Do you ever get worried that the world will somehow leave you behind? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses here. Sure. Never. I like you. Yes, sure. Okay. Yup. Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes I'm worried. Yes, I do. That's why I keep updating my skills. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Yes, with the advancement of AI. Very interesting take. Okay, very interesting take. Well done, everybody. Great answers in the chat box there. So what is it about cloud? Why are you guys here? Right? Sometimes I find myself in that situation where, the way the world is going, what's going to be left, where am I going to fit in, what's going to be made of, all these are traditional roles, what's going to be made of, our conventional careers, what is really, really going to happen, right? And I'll tell you what it is about cloud, right? That ties into all of these conversations. If you remember, or if you read a lot, you'd have probably read or heard or watched a documentary or something about the industrial revolutions, right? Anybody? The industrial revolutions, the first, the second, the third, right, and the fourth industrial revolution. Absolutely. So the first industrial revolution maybe started in the late 1700s, right, to to like the early 1800s, where this is where steam engines were created. This is where, mechanized textile engines, coal power, right? Those coal trains and things like that. Manual labor started to give way little by little to machines. And of course, because of that, that drove a lot of innovation, right? Factories sprouted up, trains and steamships, right? Even the Titanic was a steamship. If you watch the Titanic, there's a lower deck layer where guys were hurling coal into the steam engine, right? So that the combustion can then drive, right, that ship. That's what really, really categorized the first industrial revolution. The second one, was more around electricity, oil, mass production. This is where, the Rockefellers of the world, Andrew Carnegie, these guys started to produce things like steel. Rockefeller had, many oil fields and things like that. That's also the period where cars sprouted up, planes, global communication, assembly lines, and things like that. And this happened around the late 1800s to the early 1900s. So what you would see in all these revolutions is that there's something at the core of all of this innovation, right? There's something driving all of this innovation, right? For the first, it was really the steam engines, that then accelerated many things. For the second, it was the oil and the mass production that accelerated many things, right? And then, of course, we came to the third industrial revolutions, where we started to have electronics, we started to have computers, semiconductors, nuclear powers, telecommunication, and what? The internet, right? The internet. But all of this was driven, right? Maybe out of the second industrial revolution, which was around electricity and oil, right? Electronics sprouted up, right? Which sort of kickstarted the third industrial revolution. But you see that most of the innovation and most of the advancement that has happened in the third industrial revolution is around the internet, right? Digital communication, global connectivity, automation of work, and of course, everything is starting to move from an analog, right, to the digital sort of age, right? And now we're currently in the fourth industrial revolution. If you didn't get the memo, I'm telling you now, right? There have been buzzwords around, right? There are many buzzwords that you must have been hearing, being thrown around. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, generative AI, blockchain, Web3, cybersecurity, green tech, right? Green or clean tech, renewable energy, Internet of Things, all of that. This is the age that we're in now, right? And what is at the core, at the center of driving all of this? Guess what it is? Anybody in the chat box, guess what it is? Please. Cloud computing. Absolutely. Cloud, cloud, cloud. At the center of driving all of this innovation that keeps sprouting up is cloud, right? So cloud is going to form the base for which every other innovation starts to sprout up, right? We all know what open AI, right? Open AI, yes, absolutely. Web development of what? Of what? Let's say you develop a web app, or you develop what? Where are these servers that are going to run, that application? On the cloud. On the cloud. But don't worry, Cloudboosta will teach you all of it. Cloudboosta will teach you all of it. So yeah, at the core of driving this fourth industrial revolution is really the cloud. And I'm telling you this as somebody who, okay, a little bit about how I then got into tech sales. Telling you this as somebody who drives adoption of enterprise solutions, right, within different organizations, within, of course, large enterprises, mid-market, whatever, right? And what this entails is to take people from where they are in their current operations, right, to where they want to be using technology, right? To bridge that gap, whether it's operational efficiency, they're trying to achieve, or whether they have a digital transformation roadmap, right, that is going to help them, be more impactful in their business delivery to their clients. Whatever it is, what technology can help you to get from here to here. This is sort of where, right, I come in, and the statement I'm making today, right, is that give it maybe another couple of years, right? Because what you would have seen in 2020, maybe 20, between 2019, 2018, right, to 2022, a lot of cloud migration started to happen because people don't want to incur cost of owning and keeping and maintaining their own servers, right? So why not have a pay-as-you-go sort of model, right? And this is where cloud comes in. Let me not go into, teaching about about cloud and all of that. Now in this setting, having set the stage, what options do you actually have? Right? What options do you have? We've talked about some of the buzz in technology that is going on around right now. And some of these things, to be honest, like I just asked you a few minutes ago, how many of you feel sometimes that the world could honestly leave you behind? Right? I think it's a very common feeling, right? Hearing and seeing all of these things, you see a 13-year-old boy, somewhere in China or somewhere in Japan that's built one generative AI tool that is, doing this or doing that. You see some 12-year-old that is doing this and doing that, and you're almost worried that can my brain even catch up to some of these things, right? First of all, it can. But second of all, those are not your only options, right? You don't necessarily have to ride some of these buzz bandwagon, right? Before you find your place, before you're impactful in your place, and before, relevance starts to before relevance starts to define you, sort of, right? Many of those questions I asked in the beginning, to be honest, for most of the people that said both, kudos to you, because one can't really exist without the other, right? They have to coexist. For example, impact and relevance, right? Although if relevance was your goal, it's possible to not be impactful, right? But I don't see anybody that can be impactful without being relevant. Okay. So what really are your options, right? If some of these terms are giving you headache, what I would say, right, is to, first of all, of course, try to be in the loop of what is going on in the world, right? Read news articles, right? Tech blogs and things like that. But again, at the core of everything that is going on, there needs to be an understanding of the infrastructure that is driving all of this innovation. Okay? And that's really the cloud. Now, there are many cloud roles. There are many cloud roles. People are creating roles all the time, right? There are too many cloud roles out there. I'll show you a few. There are some that I'm sure you're already familiar with in terms of you've seen it maybe on LinkedIn, or maybe you already even know what it entails, right? And there are some that are not so common. For example, I don't think my role is as common as many of these ones, right? And some of them would be to be a cloud engineer, to be a solutions architect, to be a DevOps engineer, right? To be that glue between development and operations, to be a site reliability engineer, ensuring uptime, right? To be a cloud security engineer. Now, one other buzzword that you've probably been seeing is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not going anywhere anytime soon, right? That's because, of course, as things are becoming more and more digitized, as more systems are coming up, there is a need to keep them secure, right? I'm sure you agree with me. Of course, there's the data engineer as well, cloud data engineer, if you will, cloud consultant or solution specialist, cloud AI and ML engineer. And these are the more really technical roles, right? Of course, these guys get paid very well. But again, looks like please let me know that I'm still audible. It looks like I'm cut off. Please let me know I'm still audible. Can somebody let me know I'm still audible in the chat box? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes. Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Okay, so where did I stop? Cloud AI and ML, right? Cloud AI and ML. Now, these roles, right, they're technical. They're people who have an aptitude for it. There are people who have a persuasion towards it. There are people who already have careers that are adjacent to it, and maybe it's something that, or it's something that someone feels, oh, I'd really be passionate about it, or you've read and read and read about it, and you really, really want to be part of, all that is going on within that field. Absolutely amazing. But there are also options for people who don't, right? The role I do at the moment is not as technical as the role I used to do. I used to be a, solutions architect and a DevOps engineer, right? I used to be a cloud DevOps engineer. Which has its own high level of technicality, right? In building pipelines, in writing infrastructure as code scripts and things like that. And all of which Cloudboosta taught me, to be honest. But now I've transitioned sort of to tech sales. And I remember what spurred this was, for me personally, and of course, you'll be able to do this analysis for yourself based on maybe who your personality, based on career goals you have, based on the strengths that you've noticed that you have, and all of that. Many of my I remember having a mentor. I should chip this in. Mentorship is very important. These are also some of the structures that being with Cloudboosta helped me to create, right? I remember my mentor telling me one day, and we're having this conversation, and my mentor telling me one day that this is really good that you're technical with this, your DevOps skills, good and all of that, but you have a really strong relational skill that I feel may go to waste, right, behind a computer like that. And I'd also realized that I enjoy client-facing roles, right? When I got to teach, right, and facilitate breakout rooms and all of that in Cloudboosta, I enjoyed those moments. Not that I didn't enjoy the technical work, I did, right? But I enjoyed, or I had a more natural inclination to being client-facing than being technical, even though you can be good at both, right? Anything that you commit your mind to, you can actually be good at it, whatever age it is, or whatever industrial revolution you are currently in. So if we enter the fifth one, I mean, pick it up, right, and run with it. And I remember him saying that to me. I was like, that's probably true, right? And then in a separate, totally unrelated conversation, Gbemi just mentioned, and I'm sure you meet Gbemi in a bit if you haven't met her before. She founded Cloudboosta. Gbemi just mentions, in a totally unrelated conversation, Gbemi just mentions, we all owe it to ourselves to explore every gift though. Hey, so I started to think to myself, okay, if not DevOps, then what? Right? If not DevOps, then what? So I sort of charted a roadmap, right? I was going to go from DevOps and delve a little bit into developer relations. I don't know if it's something you guys have heard about before. Developer relations is also a tech role that, of course, any of you can embody, right? Developer relations more has to do with building and teaching people, right, to build, really, really being a thought leader within, right, that space. Okay. So I enjoyed writing documentations. I enjoyed, of course, relating with people at that of course, technical level as well. So I thought, oh, I should do developer relations, and maybe an ultimate expression of my relational ability may be to actually guide organizations, right, along their digital transformation pathway, right? Along their digital transformation pathway. So a strength was being very relational. Another strength was understanding a tech, understanding a tech any tech suite that I just pick up, right? So here are some other roles within. I mean, this isn't an exhaustive list. This is just I'm trying to make a point here, right? There's a pre-sales solutions engineer. I currently work with a pre-sales solutions engineer whose job is really to demo and to show the ins and outs of the product that I'm pitching to a customer that would help them transform their business or drive their business operations, right? There's a customer success manager. Believe it or not, this is a very technical role, right? Especially within my field, right? Where you have to deal with cloud-based enterprise solutions. Okay. Of course, there are partner and channel managers who manage relations between different entities just to drive the adoption of a particular technology, right, within the market. There's, of course, FinOps, there's the enterprise account manager, compliance and regulatory specialist. This one, lawyers, many lawyers and people like that are very, very inclined to it. So, of course, your background and where you're coming from, can also come into play in looking at what cloud path, right, could possibly be out there for you. There are cloud policy advisors, cloud rights management specialists when it comes to the film and the music industry, healthcare data privacy officers, cloud adoption change managers. The list goes on and on. And that's why I said people are creating roles every day, right? That being said, in this ever-evolving world where we're about to hit the 5th industrial revolution, here are the 4 things that I would ask of you, right? 1, be curious. Be very, very curious. The world is changing very quickly, right? Be involved with all of these changes, right? Again, read journals, listen to podcasts, be involved with these changes, right? Seek clarity on this path that you're trying to determine or trying to decide, right? So you can be someone who identify your strengths. You can be someone who has a lot of maybe technical curiosity, or you're someone who has a lot of relational ability, or you're someone who has a lot of business sense, right? Research on it. I'm sure there is a role within this tech space for you, and cloud is usually almost always at the center of it, right? So identify your strengths, identify that entry point, identify your growth trajectory. Roles evolve all the time. The role I'm currently in, I'm hearing at the office now that it may evolve into sort of a regional expansion role. I don't know, but I mean, of course, I'm always open to it, right? The last one is something that Cloudboosta would definitely do for you. And then, of course, consistency. 2, be consistent, please. The biggest differentiator is not really talent, it's consistency and structure, right? Small regular actions compound. You can't wake up one day and be the 16-year-old in Japan that has just built, some generative AI somewhere, right? But you can right here, right now, commit to learning on a path that you have chosen and create a structure around it. It adds up. I'll tell you, I don't say this a lot because the role I'm currently in, when the ads are put out for this role, they want someone with like 8 years experience in tech sales and things like that. I don't have it. Maybe I shouldn't tell you how many years I have. It's ridiculous. I don't have it. I don't. But small, consistent actions, right? They usually add up when you also stay curious, right? Flexibility. The world is changing very quickly. You want to be able to be flexible enough to either identify where you can make more impact, right? Or at least ride a wave that is out there, right? Either identify where to create something new, because all of these roles I'm telling you are out there. It was an individual that came up one day and said, this is a gap that I have identified within this tech ecosystem, within this cloud ecosystem, and I think I can fit here. Marrying my technical knowledge with whatever else, right? I think there's something in this space. People have created that, right? Also be flexible enough if it's not you that has created that, to ride that wave. Okay, to ride that wave. And oh, okay. Oh, that was 4 of them. I thought there was one more. So thank you for listening, everyone. I really, really hope that there are questions for me. I do better, when you throw questions at me and I'm able to give you proper and direct responses to. I'm sure there's a lot on your mind. There are many things, I've said. There are, of course, also a few things I haven't said. If there's anything on your mind that I haven't addressed yet, of course, I'm very, very happy to. Again, thank you, Cloudboosta, for having me. I'll just hand over to the moderator now. Cool, guys?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tobi.
Hi, baby.
Those words came out together. Hi, Tobi. So good to see you. It's so good to see you again. You're most welcome. Yeah, you can see people already. Please tell us how the session was in the chat box, right? People are already saying it and I'll read it out. Someone said, amazing session. You're very articulate. Kudos. Bravo, Tobi. Amazing. So yeah, we're going to go straight into the questions now, Tobi. I'm glad that you love questions because we've got loads of it already. Please, guys, don't forget, all your questions should be on Slido, and we're going to share the link again. Tobi, you can stop sharing your screen so we can just do the Q&A sessions.
Okay.
So, yeah, please, don't be afraid. Ask all your questions. That's why Tobi is here. That's why I'm here as well. And of course, as you know, as Tobi has said, he is a graduate of Cloudboosta as well. So I'm going to go into the questions. And then if there are questions that are related, because I can see some of you have questions around when the next cohort is and all of those kind of questions. Those ones, I will take them at the end. So I just want to assure you, all your questions are going to be answered today. Okay. So someone is saying that one question, I'm trying to see what is okay, there's a question that says for someone into web development, what part of cloud would you recommend? And then let's combine that with another question that says, if I have zero tech background, which cloud career path should I realistically aim for? Let's have both questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the questions, guys. For someone into web development, what cloud career path would I recommend? I think there was this certification, this AWS certification, AWS Developer Associate, I remember. What you'll find these days is that most web applications, most applications, to be honest, right, that require your skill are being built on the cloud. So what are the tools these people are using to achieve this? These are the things that I would say you should be curious about. Okay. As far as as long as this journey it requires you to evolve, right? While strengthening that same skill you have, learning other things that can complement it, please go for it. Developer associate is something that you can look into for someone who is in web development. For someone who has absolutely no technical background, I like people like you because you're a blank slate, right? But I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a question right back. What are your interests? What are your aptitudes? What are your strengths? Right? Because if you can answer this question, I promise you can find a career path for you within this technology and within this cloud. Right? So I wouldn't want to give you a blanket answer, right? I'd ask you right back because there are many no-code cloud roles, right? There are many very low-code cloud roles, right? And there are many mid-code cloud roles. There are roles that are very code-heavy, very technical. The levels of technicalities really, really vary, right? So if you're a lawyer, I'd tell you to go into policy making or compliance or data governance and things like that, right? So that's the question you need to answer. And once you have the answer to that question, you can honestly research a little about it and you'll be good.
Thank you so much, Tobi. That leads me, what you said last leads me to the next question. So okay. I can see a question here that says, do I need to learn how to code before I can start cloud? In addition to that, a similar question says, what cloud roles can I aim for if I don't want to write code? And then finally, let's combine that with someone asking, what career path in cloud offers the most flexibility to move into other tech areas later, like data or AI? So I guess people want to know, right, if they need to, do they need to learn how to code before they start cloud? What cloud roles can they aim for if they don't want to code? And which one offers the most flexibility if you want to move on to other areas?
Okay. Let's start from the first one. Do you need to learn how to code before you have a career in cloud? No, absolutely not. Right. However, I think one of the things you should live by is to be willing to learn how to do it. Right. I'm not saying that you're going to create a career out of it. Right. Today, I don't do any coding at all. Right. But if an engineer puts a script in front of me, I can read it. I can tell you what it is going to do. And that's why I'm able to then, right, speak to a room where, because of course, in my role, you're going to be speaking to a room where there is a CEO who really wants to only know the business outcomes of this thing you are trying to adopt, a CTO who is only crazy about the tech stack and how that affects, their current infrastructure and all of that, maybe a COO, operational efficiency, CFO, cost efficiency, all of those things, right? But knowing that, of course, opened up a lot of doors for me. In fact, I'd say that my acceleration in this role, like I was saying before, the current role I'm in, they asked for 8 years experience. I don't have it, to be honest. But my acceleration in this role, I would owe to many of the technical things that I've had to learn over the years, right? Don't be afraid of it. It doesn't mean that, that's why I think don't be afraid of it. You don't need it to have a career in cloud, but don't be afraid of it because it always helps. No knowledge is wasted. Okay. What was the second question? Sorry.
Yeah, I think someone is asking which cloud path would help them to easily move into other areas like data, AI, and all that. Yeah.
Is the cloud path that Cloudboosta usually starts with and a solutions architect, right? I stand to be corrected, but that's what I think. To be a solutions architect means to know a little bit about everything that the cloud has to offer, right? It means to know all of the services that could possibly come together to give you a particular outcome. It means to be able to take somebody's business objectives, right, and turn that into a solution that you built with tech and on the cloud, right? So solutions architect is wide, is broad. I think it's the broadest exam that you're going to do if you do decide to venture on this journey. And when you see that you've done that exam, you've covered most of the services, most of the tools, everything else now starts to streamline. Okay, I've done this. I know most of the cloud services now. I want to streamline into security, streamline into DevOps, streamline into site reliability engineering, streamline into, but there's that base understanding of everything that the cloud has to offer. So solutions architect will be it.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we train you about at Cloudboosta, which I'll come to shortly. Just bear with us. And of course, we have a special offer for you if you stay till the end. So we're going to get through all the questions very quickly. But yes, absolutely start as a solutions architect. So Tobi, thank you so much for that. Someone is asking, and I'm combining multiple questions because of time. How do cloud career paths differ between industries? For example, in the finance industry, healthcare, startups, government. And then someone is also asking, how entry friendly are these roles? So all the different career paths we've spoken about today, how entry friendly are they? Can people start from scratch when they get, such opportunities? And let me just add another one. How long does it usually take someone with no experience to land a role in cloud, right? So there's a question around how do cloud careers differ when we're looking at it from a finance perspective, from different industry perspective, and then how entry friendly are the roles, and then how long does it take someone that doesn't have a tech background, how long does it take for them to land a cloud career?
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so how do cloud careers differ from industry to industry? Is that the question? Okay. So, how do I put this? They don't particularly differ. The stack you get to interact with is what differs, right? If you are a site reliability engineer in a fintech, for example, and you move to being a site reliability engineer in a health tech, you would interact with sort of the same tools, the same set of tools, but how you then start to use it might differ from company to company based on their business objectives, based on how they've built out their solution, so really it's the outcomes that help you determine um how the work goes, right? That's why for someone like Gbemi, who is a consultant, sometimes I covet her level of knowledge because um, as a consultant, you would have worked in fintech, health tech, multiple industries, manufacturing or oil and gas. So, and it's same applying this same skill, right? You realize that you have to be extremely nimble, right? With that knowledge, you have to really, really know how to use that knowledge, right? But the knowledge is the knowledge. That's what I would say. The knowledge is the knowledge, right? How entry friendly are these roles? Again, people are creating roles all the time, right? What I would say is focus on the fundamentals and focus on the foundationals, right? We had a student in Cloudboosta back in the day. He wasn't looking to transition into cloud per se. He was looking for how cloud could be relevant within healthcare that he was in. That was a whole role that he was going to create in the company that he was working in at the time, right? And of course, that's very entry friendly, right? So, because these roles are springing up, right? As long as that foundational knowledge, you're very, very strong in it, right? You can then apply it, in those ways. I have very strong foundational knowledge with cloud, with DevOps. I apply it in sales, to be honest. And I help, organizations to transform basically with tech stacks and all of that. Now, how long does it take? It's completely up to you, right? People learn at different rates, right? But what everybody needs across board is structure, is consistency. Once you have a good learning structure, once you have consistency, and so, for example, it can take someone 4 months, right, to get to a level where you're having fluent conversations. When I started my cloud career, I remember this particular quote that it was the CTO of a consulting company, Bags Innovation at the time. And he said to me, if you can talk about cloud, there is a space for you, right? I would be honest with you, these days, right? When they say talk about cloud, it's not at the level of those days talk about cloud, right? Maybe it's at a higher level now because people are getting more and more familiar, but that also just means that there's more material that you can learn with. We don't have to reinvent, things for you to learn and all of that, but it's up to you. But all you need is structure.
Thank you so much, Toby. Thank you so much. Now, I'll take a few Cloudboosta questions, right? Someone is saying that, another question. For Cloudboosta, someone is saying, my name is Tenny from Nigeria. I want to ask that, hope this platform is not affiliate marketing. It is not, please. We are legitimate, and I'll tell you more about what we'll do at Cloudboosta shortly. Does Cloudboosta provide any career coaching or CV and LinkedIn help? Absolutely, we do. So once you finish your time with us at Cloudboosta, again, I'll talk you through our program very shortly. We definitely help you. We give you guidance on how to put your CV together. We review it. We teach you how to put your LinkedIn profile together. We review. We even do interview simulation sessions, exam simulation questions, because at the end of the day, it's not just about you training with us, but you being able to land your dream job. We prepare you for that. And your time with us at Cloudboosta is classed as work experience, which gives you a very, very good leverage as you go into the job market. Don't worry, just stay with us. I'll talk about it in more detail. How does Cloudboosta keep its training updated with the fast-changing cloud industry? I love this question because that's something we're very particular about in Cloudboosta. every single quarter. Once we finish, we review all our resources, we check what is happening in the industry, and we make sure that what we're delivering is exactly what is in the industry. And then also, everyone that teaches you at Cloudboosta, they're all working. For example, I'm a cloud DevOps manager at PwC. We have people working in AWS. You can see Tobi, he's working as a cloud professional. So everyone you're interacting with, we do cloud on a day-to-day basis. So we know exactly what is happening in the industry, and that's what we're teaching you. And we make sure that our resources always reflect that. Okay. So they say you have not mentioned anything technical. Don't worry, we'll come to that. And I'll tell you more about the things that we do at Cloudboosta. And then our Cloudboosta alumni working in big companies like Microsoft, AWS, and Google. Absolutely, yes. I will share with you some testimonials today. Okay. Tobi, back to you. Someone is asking a question. I want to know about cloud architecture, both front end and back end. So if you can just give a person an overview of that. And similar to that, another question is like, what is the end-to-end workflow of a solutions architect and a solutions engineer? So if you can just talk a bit high level about cloud architecture. Right,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, I think I would even take both questions together. Cloud architecture overview, solutions engineer, workflow. I think it's very similar questions, so I'll just answer it at once. When you start to learn cloud, you would learn what we call a 3-tier architecture, right? And that's speaking to the front end, and that's the presentation layer, the middle layer, which is the compute layer that has all the servers working, and the back end, which is the database layer, right? So I mean, these are some of the things that within Cloudboosta's curriculum, right? So for a front-end engineer, for example, I think that was even one of the things that was it class 2 or class 3? For a front-end engineer, to be able to not just write the code of your front-end presentation layer, right? To be able to know what tools you can make use of on the cloud, whether it's AWS, whether, of course, there are different cloud providers. AWS is the largest one, that has the biggest market share. So you should probably learn that one. And of course, there's Azure, there's GCP, there's Oracle, there's Alibaba, all of those things. So once you know one, the knowledge is very transferable, right? So what services does AWS offer for me to be able to take my front end code that I've written and be able to present it for, everybody to see, right? What am I going to do about that? In the back end, all of this database, all of these API calls that need to happen here, how am I going to set it up to be deliverable such that people are actually able to use it, right? And this is what architecting a solution is all about. Maybe you're not the one, of course, the developers are writing the code. You need to be able to understand the code, but how do I pull together the resources on the cloud to be able to deliver this code as a product that is usable by people, by end users, right? And that doesn't break in the background and that can handle all the traffic. So for example, on Valentine's Day, I have an e-commerce product. On Valentine's Day, there's an incredible spike, right? How can my servers even handle this, right? I've put servers together to do the compute. I've put the database layer together. I've put some other microservices at the back end such that APIs are helping me to, get calls and present things to my front-end users. How is this thing going to stay resilient? How is this thing going to stay cost optimized? Because of course, cloud is pay as you go. How is this thing going to stay secure? How is this thing going to stay fault tolerant? How is this thing going to be scalable, right? Up and down. And in cloud, you pay for what you use, right? So what happens when that spike in traffic that made you increase your infrastructure then goes down, right? That's why people are moving to the cloud, because if you had bought those servers, physical servers on premise, then what are you going to do with them when that traffic goes, right? But on the cloud, you can scale it up, you can scale it down. These are the things, right? These are the front end, the back end, these are the day-to-days, right, of a cloud engineer or of a solutions architect. I hope I've been able to provide some clarity.
Thank you so much, Tobi. So in addition to what Tobi has said, basically as a cloud architect, you're looking at the big picture of how everything fits together. It's very similar to, architects that we have that work on buildings, right? An architect will have the blueprints, right? This is where this room should be. You know, this is where, how many toilets we should have. They have the plan of what the entire cloud infrastructure should look like. And then an engineer goes ahead and starts building each of those individual components, just as Toby has described. So yeah, that's what those two career paths are. So I hope that really helps. You know, whoever asked that question. So the same, Mr. Toby, you said something about strengths and how do you about strength. How do you identify your strengths and how can I identify mine? Very quickly.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I think first of all, you can study yourself, you can study patterns, right? You can study the things that come naturally to you, you can study the things that you have aptitude for. You can ask the people that are closest to you, to be honest, right? I think so far, maybe most of us have at least gone through school, gone through, maybe you have worked for some time, right? You can look into all of those years. There's a lot of historical data, right? There are roles that maybe you didn't particularly enjoy, but there was one particular job function that you enjoyed about it, right? I have a friend, he doesn't like his job, but he loves Excel. And it's just one thing about his job. He loves Microsoft Excel. For what? I mean, I don't, right? But that's a strength, right? He likes to manage data. He likes to analyze things. He likes to report things. And that's where, in exploring those little things that you've realized that, oh, it comes very easily to me. Some they come very easily to you. You didn't even notice that you liked them, right? Some you particularly like them, right? It can be any which way, but part of curiosity is not just being curious about everything that is going on around. It's also being curious about yourself, right? So you need to be very aware of yourself as well. And I'm sure you'll be able to, find one or two places where you thrive easily.
Thank you so much, Toby. I will take a few Cloudboosta questions as we go along. Someone is saying, is there a community at Cloudboosta where students can support each other? Absolutely, yes. Again, please just stay with us till the end. I'll give you a full picture of what we are offering you at Cloudboosta. But yeah, one of the major things that we do at Cloudboosta is support. Once you're part of the program, you have an accountability partner, and you will also have, Cloudboosta facilitators who work with you very, very closely from the beginning of your program till the end. So, you have that level of accountability because we know is needed, right, for adult learning. Someone is saying, I already have a background in Azure. Just want to know if Cloudboosta deals only on AWS. So yes, we majorly teach you AWS, and just like Toby has said, as he was speaking earlier today, right? Once you learn one cloud platform, you can apply that knowledge to other ones as well. So as you know, Microsoft Azure, you could get a job with AWS based on that. As a matter of fact, we have an instructor, the last webinar that we invited Shola, he shared the story on that. He had so many Microsoft Azure certifications and he got a job on AWS. So we just focus on one. We picked AWS because it's very easy to learn. They are the ones that have the most services. But once you know AWS, you can apply it to Azure. So yes, we deal in AWS majorly, but we teach you cloud computing and then you can apply it to other platforms as well. So someone is saying, what are the odds for someone in Nigeria to get these jobs? Can someone in Nigeria get these jobs remotely? I've heard people say it's not easy. It is very possible. We have people who have finished with us at Cloudboosta and I've gotten remote jobs abroad, and I've also gotten jobs within Nigeria. So it is very, very possible. I'd like Toby to also answer that. And then in addition, Toby, someone is asking, how do I break into, well, just, it says break in, but I guess break into cloud computing with a background in agriculture. Another person is saying that as a carer, where do I fit in? So this person is currently working as a carer in the healthcare sector, and they're asking, how do they fit in? So please speak to that. People getting jobs, from Nigeria, remote jobs, and then also people with varying backgrounds as well. You've talked about it, you can just touch on it again. Someone has a background in agri, someone is in caring, someone is in different things, right? How can they easily break in? Thank you, Toby.
Okay. Is it easy to... Sorry, I look frozen. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my screen was frozen for a bit there. Okay. Do you know the first question was about, can you get jobs, right?
Yes, in Nigeria specifically, yeah.
In Nigeria.
And then remote
Okay.
jobs as well, yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you absolutely can. Of course, I understand the unique dynamics of the job market out there right now, right? Um, I mean, I know people have, of course, people complain daily. It's not easy to get a job. Is this is that. What I'll say to that, is that many employers are not seeing what they're looking for. Okay. Once an employer sees what they're looking for, they will almost fight to have you, right? And this is where I would create the balance between skill and maybe certification, right? Certification is very good. It will get your foot in the door, right? But what I've seen in the market today is that people ignore years of experience. And I'm saying that as a as as what has been my experience myself, right? People ignore years of experience in quote when they see the quality of projects and quality of results that you've gotten, even if it's a short time. Does that make sense? Right? And of course, the learning that I know that Cloudboosta usually takes you on is very, very hands-on and very, very project-based with quality projects. Those are the things that employers value, right? More than anything else. So if you have this in your backpack, even remote jobs, you'll land them. Okay. The second question, it's around people with different backgrounds, right? Have you heard of crop to cash? I don't know who asked that question. Now, if you've heard of crop to cash is an agri-tech, right? It's an agri-tech. There's a lot inside within crop to cash. Logistics, okay, they're helping farmers earn more money while making more farm produce available to, and crop to cash has evolved and evolved and evolved over the years. It is literally a tech platform, right? Currently in my role, one of the products that I'm in charge of driving adoption for is a core banking app, right? I speak to some of the solutions engineers and, the product guys and, right, the DevOps engineers on the product. And these guys are honestly already accountants in themselves, right? They're honestly already accountants, and it's stuff they had to learn while creating this solution where they recognize the gap. Now, imagine if you're already an accountant. Imagine if you're already an accountant that now happen to have this DevOps skill. You will be the perfect person, right? You're the perfect candidate for that role. My role specifically, when they saw my background in cloud, my background in DevOps, they were like, this product is difficult to sell. Who will sell it? Who would drive the adoption for it? Who would enlighten enterprises about its capabilities, about its functionalities, about its infrastructure? Who would handhold them from what they don't know to realizing what they need to know and then to adopting that solution? I have some experience with sales. I have a background in cloud. Perfect, right? Try and do a little more research on it, right? There's very likely a meeting point of where you currently are, right, in terms of career with cloud. Very, very likely.
Thank you so much, Tobi. I hope you guys are getting answers to your questions. I mean, it's been so insightful. Thank you, Tobi. I'm going to combine 4 questions because they're very similar, right? So someone is asking, cloud computing seems to be very wide. Which cloud career path would you consider the most profitable and easy to assimilate? And someone is saying, kindly recommend the best path of cloud for a business analyst who is looking to upskill. Another person is asking, I love managing different projects. What part of tech or cloud role should I go for? And then finally, someone is saying that what are the recommended cloud roles that are suitable for someone who has numerous years of experience in customer service or has a people management background experience? So I feel like all these questions are asking for more insight into the different cloud careers. And then we have someone who has a background in business analysis, someone who loves managing different projects, someone who has experience in customer service or people management. All of these different backgrounds are asking, okay, what roles are suitable for them? And then someone is just asking generically that, you know what, out of all these career paths, which one has the most money? Which one is the most profitable and easy to assimilate? So can you just talk a bit about that, please?
Okay, a little bit about everything. Okay. So where do I start? Okay. Again, numerous roles within cloud, within tech. I think one of the roles that was on my slide was customer success, right? So for someone who has a lot of experience interfacing with, customers, customer service, all of those things. I currently work with a customer success manager because that directly ties into our revenue. How so? It's one thing to make sales and to onboard clients. It's another thing to retain them, right? We retain them by having a customer success manager. And customer success manager is very, very similar to the customer service that you are used to. Only that you have to learn that cloud solution that we've just sold, right? And having that, cloud knowledge, of course, would help you to interface very easily with that, right? I hope that makes sense. Someone said, business analysts or something, right? So for a business analyst and also for someone who likes to manage many projects, right? One of the when cloud first, started becoming a thing, one of the projects that people worked on the most was migration. Migration is a big project, right? There are people who are cloud project managers, there are people who are cloud product managers, right? For someone who likes to manage projects, for someone who likes to even maybe articulate the business objectives of something, break down what a business needs and all of those things, business outcomes, and how to get the business from here to here with all of those analyses. You realize that there's no business that doesn't want to leverage technology, right, to either scale or to make more revenue, or there's absolutely a way, right, that ties into it. Now, the cloud, the cloud role that makes the most money, I don't know. I can't tell you. They're all profitable, to be honest, in my opinion. They're all profitable because of their relevance, right? They're all relevant because of their impact in the organization, right? So I can't say, top. A tech sales role, for example, you'd earn both maybe base salary and maybe some commission on the side. But I've also seen, with all the commission that you earn, I've also seen where maybe if FinOps, you know what if FinOps is? A cloud FinOps makes sure that your cost, the cost of your infrastructure and everything is optimized, right? So that there's no extra leakage of expense anywhere, or things like that. I've seen where a FinOps earns way more than a tech salesperson. So, of course, it varies per company, but I'd say they're all profitable.
Thank you so much, Tobi. And just to add to that, right, regardless of what path, you don't need to rush into deciding, oh, this is the path I need to. Sometimes you evolve as well, right? The key thing is for you to have the right foundation, right? Have the right level of training that you need. And then the more you're exposed, the more you start rethinking about it. And then also you have to look at opportunities in the market part-time as well. Let all those things drive your decision in addition to what you enjoy doing. But have the right level of knowledge to start with, and then your exposure will keep helping you narrow down into the things that you want to do. But Tobi, thank you so much. There's so many questions. I don't know if we'll take everything, but we'll try our very best. I can see a lot of questions about cloud computing and DevOps. I'll try and cover that in my presentation, which I'll start shortly. Someone is saying the solutions architect code as a solutions architect, you would code on the job, but it's good for you to have an understanding of different programming languages and how they work, because they will impact your decision, right? Trying to, develop either the solutions architect for an organization or for a particular project. So the knowledge is still important. Okay, I hope that helps. How do you showcase your project as a cloud engineer? I will allow Tobi to talk a bit about that. And then someone is saying that what particular valuable roles or certification in cloud computing do not require coding or intense technical or mathematical skill or interest. We've covered that extensively today. I hope you've gotten an answer to that. So I can see someone is saying, okay, cloud and DevOps engineer, the roles differ in responsibility, skills, and given my IT support and web development background, which one do you recommend? Someone is saying, what's the difference between cloud engineering and DevOps engineering, right? So, and there's someone is saying, oh, I want to focus more on DevOps. Do you also take that, or you just focus on cloud alone? Right. So for those kind of questions, cloud and DevOps are different, but they still work together, right? Tobi has talked about cloud computing today. When we talk about cloud computing, it's majorly around hosting your entire infrastructure with a global cloud provider like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, right? And then DevOps has to do with a culture, how you deliver software in a way that is faster, and when you have updates on the software, it doesn't break what you have before you created those updates. So cloud computing and DevOps, we teach everything at Cloudboosta, because we notice that cloud DevOps involves a wide range of different tools, and that gives you the right foundation. So even if you want to end up being a cloud project manager, or you want to end up being into cloud sales, or you want to end up being whatever it is, cloud platform engineer, once you've learned an infusion of the cloud computing and DevOps skills, which we offer together, right, it gives you the right foundation to go into whatever path you want to go into. So we just go for the most comprehensive, right, and then that lays the right foundation for you. So I hope that helps. And then Tobi, let's go to the question of how do you showcase your project as a cloud engineer? And there are a lot of people also asking questions around AI, right? What job is not AI replaceable in the coming years and is in high demand? In the nearest future, which branch of cloud computing do you think AI will take over and is to be relevant for humans to work that branch? Please cover, and I'll chip in on that as well. Thank you, Tobi.
Okay. So where do you want me to start again? Okay, how do you showcase your project? Maybe AK will be best to even take this question. But how do you showcase your project? There are different ways, okay? Different ways. First of all, don't be afraid of documentation, right? Document as you do, okay? Document as you do. Whatever project you're embarking on, document as you do. In fact, right? So I've met people that want to see the project to completion before they now start documenting what they went through. Rather not. When you ask them why, they'll tell you, oh, because I might encounter a glitch here or a glitch there, and then it will not be smooth and all of that. Document that one. Exactly that one, right? Because of course, you're learning, right? These are the things that people want to see. Document the start of the project, the problems that you encountered, how you were able to come through those problems, document how the project was delivered, document, a live display of the outcome, right? People want to also know that you understand the effect of this project that you've done. And I mean effect, when I say if I mean the impact on the business that you are deploying it for. So think around a lot of scenarios. Think scenarios. So if there's a project we're looking at that we want to deploy, what effect would this project have? What type of organization would want to deploy this project? Why? Right? These are the questions. Think scenarios, right? And then when you find the answers to those questions, document, right? At the end of it, you can talk then more about the business outcomes of this technology process that you've gone through. Okay. You can document on Medium, Hashnode. I have a Hashnode account. GitHub, your GitHub repository is always good to document. You can post some of those things on LinkedIn, right? Put it out there. In fact, I see that people these days or companies these days are following my company rejected a guy for a role recently, right? And he posted it on LinkedIn as he couldn't meet up to the standard of this organization, and this was what he learned. I heard my CEO say, if I have the opportunity, or if the opportunity ever comes and this guy ever reapplies, hire him. I literally heard my CEO say that, right? That's a form of documentation. That's him going on there to say, I didn't meet up to the standard of, right, to be employed by PLS. I think I flunked the interview, and it was nobody's fault. I think I flunked the interview. These are the things I've learned. You can't buy that in the market. And this is the essence of documentation, okay? So of course, document in different ways. Ike will probably teach you more on that, when you start your cloud journey, but it's very important. There was another question around
on AI. I think people just want to have the assurance that, is cloud going to be a thing? I mean, is this still going to be relevant in this AI age and all of that?
Yeah. So first thing I'll say is, so I have maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but yeah, there are certain job functions that may feel threatened because of AI, but I think at the core of AI really is to help us be more efficient at what we do, right? Is to help us be more efficient at what we do. With cloud particularly, I don't see AI replacing anything. In fact, some of the most popular AI organizations, platforms, and tools that you daily use and that you come in contact with, they are built on the cloud. Your ChatGPT, there's an SaaS software as a service part of it. There's the platform as a service part of it, right? For people who then use it as an abstraction layer to build things on, right? But all of that infrastructure is somebody that did it on the cloud. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I was talking about, that's why I spent some time on that fourth industrial revolution and what is at the center of driving all of it. I strongly believe that it is cloud computing, right? Because all of these innovations that are coming around, when blockchain started, it didn't start on the cloud. But now, when you want to create decentralized financial tools and things like that, you're starting from the cloud, right? You need GPU servers for generative AI. It's cloud platforms, it's global cloud platforms that offer you all of those infrastructure so that you don't bear the brunt of, of acquiring those things yourself, right? Since it's pay as you go. People, and in this area, there's a lot of testing going on. You don't want to incur costs just to test and to fail, right? It's so relevant, cloud. It's so relevant to all of the innovation and the advent of AI that is going on out there right now.
Thank you so much, Tobi. It's been amazing having you on board. Thank you so much. Can we appreciate Tobi once more for answering all the questions? We have so many questions, and I know that there's still some questions left, but I just want to encourage you all, please remain a part of the Cloudboosta community, right? If you're not on a WhatsApp group, you'll get the link to join our WhatsApp group. On this platform, we'll answer all your questions. We always like to answer all questions, but we also don't want to take too much of your time because we know it's Friday evening. You guys have fun things planned out. Tobi, thank you so much. Can we appreciate Tobi once?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here today. It's been so encouraging and enlightening. So guys, every other question has not been answered. Please just stay put. We're going to answer them within the community. And before you go, I promised you something special. So I want to tell you more about our program at Cloudboosta, how you can be a part of it. So many questions around when is the next cohort, how long is your program? That is what I'm getting into right now. So please stay with me till the end. I still have something special for you. I'm just going to share my screen now, and then I'll talk you through how you can get started. For me, we have to do the do, right? It's not just about talking. We've talked about cloud. So if you're a carer, you're a business analyst, how do you get started? That is what we're talking about today. So at Cloudboosta, right, we have two major programs. And those two programs, we have what we call the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course on your left, and then we have the Comprehensive Cloud DevOps course on your right. So what we have is that for people who are already tech professionals and they want to transition into cloud DevOps, like the questions we had today, some of you are web developers already, you're into IT support, you already have this tech background, but you want to move into something different, which is cloud computing and DevOps. You know, you have some level of either no code or code tech experience, no matter how small, and you already understand the tech lingua enough to be able to follow simple instructions. For you that fall into that category, right, we recommend the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course for you, right? So, and for people who you're looking to transition into cloud from scratch, you are a newbie, you don't know anything about cloud computing, don't worry, we've got you, right? So if you want to, you know, maybe combine the field that you're in with cloud computing, you know, we talked about agro-tech, we talked about fintech and all of that. You know, if you just don't have any background at all in cloud computing and you want to get started, then the comprehensive cloud DevOps course is for you. So I'm going to be telling you a bit more about these two programs that we run and when we are getting started, right? So for the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course, which is for people who already have a tech background, we run a 15 weeks program for you. So with your 15 weeks with us at Cloudboosta, you're going to have access to fully guided lab sessions. You have access to additional resources. You have access to AWS certification exam readiness materials. You have access to a learning community. Your course is going to be 80% practical and of course theoretical sessions as well, because you're going to be given you know, recorded videos to watch for the training. You have access to exclusive information on job opportunities. You have live one-on-one facilitator support sessions, and then you also work on industry standard projects. So every Saturday, for those of you who are part of the accelerator course, you will join us for practical sessions where you're just building solutions on the cloud. We would have given you videos to watch ahead because you're already in tech, you're used to everything tech. So we expect that you would be able to complete the training in a shorter time. And of course, we just focus majorly on practical hands-on sessions for you on Saturday. On the other hand, and of course, the modules that you will get exposed to, you get exposed to the Intro to Cloud course modules. You will get a deep dive into the different AWS services, right? That's for cloud computing. And for DevOps, some of you ask question, what programming language do you recommend? What am I going to learn? At Cloudboosta, we teach you Python programming from scratch. You will also learn Linux scripting. You will learn about Git and GitHub. You will learn Jenkins. You will learn Terraform. You learn Docker, Kubernetes, ELK, and Ansible. So those of you who want to join the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course, you have a background in tech, join us at Cloudboosta. And then for those who are learning from scratch, what we have for you, again, similarly, we call it the Comprehensive Cloud DevOps course, but for you, you're going to be on a journey with us for at least 20 weeks. We are going to have live classes with you every Saturday where we teach you the theory, the theoretical part of what you're learning. And for everything you learn, you're also going to build solutions on the cloud. So we're combining in your Saturday interactions with us, we're combining practical times of learning, theoretical times of learning, and practical sessions. So similarly, you're going to have fully guided labs for the sessions you have with us on Saturday, additional resources, AWS certification exam, you know, readiness materials. You're also going to be a part of the learning community. You're going to join us for classes every week. You have one-on-one facilitator support. You have industry standard projects as well. You're going to be involved. I mean, we're going to teach you about employability, putting your CV together and all of that, and how to get jobs, and of course, exclusive information on job opportunities. Whether you sign up for the accelerator program or the comprehensive cloud DevOps course, your time with us at Cloudboosta passes for work experience as a cloud DevOps engineer. So after your program with us, after your time with us, we give you referrals as well, because most times when you're trying to break into the field, you need someone that will hold your hands from the beginning. So we're like midwives, so are the ones getting you from where you are into the world of cloud DevOps, and not just training you. We give you all that you need. We help you in terms of job application. We give you information. We work with our recruitment partners as well to place. Some people have jobs around questions around job placement, internship opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities. We have those level of partnerships already where organizations come to meet us when they want to recruit cloud DevOps engineers. We just need people who are willing to go on this intense journey. Someone said how hard is it, how stressful it is. I'm a working mom. We have designed this program for people who are busy. I'm also a working mom myself. So that's why your classes hold on Saturday, and then we give you things to do during the week as well. So it's going to be intense, but think about the reward that you're going to get at the end of the day. So again, for the comprehensive cloud DevOps course, you're going to be exposed to different AWS services and all the DevOps tools you're going to be exposed to. Then we teach you from scratch. So you don't need to be intimidated. You don't need to have heard what Linux is. You don't need to have heard what Python is. We're going to teach you like we're teaching ABC from scratch. And that's the benefit of joining us at Cloudboosta, okay? What to expect, I'll go over it very quickly. When you finish with us at Cloudboosta, you will have learned how to use AWS as your cloud deployment platform. You will have learned different AWS services and real-life use cases, which you can put on your CV. You would have learned how to work on real-life cloud projects that are industry standard. You will have learned how to use Git and GitHub for source code management. You will have learned how to use Ansible for server configuration management. Again, you don't need to know what all these things are. We're teaching you from scratch. You will have learned how to use Docker and application containerization, how to use Kubernetes as a container orchestrator. You will have learned how to create CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins for automation deployment. You will have also learned how to use AWS CloudFormation and Terraform for infrastructure as code. And after your time with us, you will have built a public repository of all the projects that you have worked on. We talked about that. Someone asked the question, how can I showcase my project? We'll tell you how to do that at Cloudboosta. And we encourage you, after every class with us at Cloudboosta, make a post about what you've done because your projects are industry standard. Let recruiters begin to understand what your skills are, the skills you're building. Let them see your journey, right? We teach you all of those things. So you will have gotten enough experience to land your first cloud engineer role. And like I said, this now becomes the foundation for you, depending on what career path you want to go into. But this is your starting point. Our Cloudboosta, our method of delivery, it's majorly practical, highly practical, 20% theoretical, 10% learning reinforcement, and of course, 20% peer influence. Some of you are excited when I say you have accountability partner. That's how it is at Cloudboosta. And also, again, like I said, you're going to be with us on a weekly basis on Saturday. If you signed up for the accelerator course, we engage you on Saturdays for about 5 hours. But if you sign up for the comprehensive course that you're learning from scratch, you're going to be with us for about at least 7 hours on Saturday, right? And all of it, lectures, practical sessions, and group learning. It's always very hands-on. All your programs with us at Cloudboosta, we give you what we call this hands-on lab documents, where for everything you're building, you can see the theory behind it, right? We give you these lab documents to work on, and then you build all these solutions, you know, as we have instructed in the document. So we've catered for people that learn in different ways. Some people learn by reading, some people learn by practical, some people learn by hearing, whatever kind of learner you are. I mean, I always say it, I'm a teacher at heart, and I'm very passionate about what I do as a teacher and as a cloud professional. So we've infused all of that into your program with us at Cloudboosta. No matter what level you are, you have a tech background, you don't have a tech background, you can be a part of what we're doing at Cloudboosta. You're going to have group projects, of course. Any of the training you sign up for, you work on industry standard projects, right? You're going to also be, grafted into the alumni community when you finish with us. And at this point, you get to network, you get to meet mentors. I saw questions around mentorship. You get to attend webinars like this exclusive one for people who have graduated from us at Cloudboosta. You attend career upgrading events. You get that network that you need, to access job opportunities, and you're able to transition faster because you're working with like minds. Cloudboosta, one of the things that people love about us is the level of encouragement and support that you get along the way. We believe in you. I don't believe that there's nobody that cannot succeed. As long as you're on the call, there's some level of interest in you already. You're interested, and we're here to hold your hands till the end. It's not something that we just ginger at the beginning. We've been doing this for over 4 years now, and we've gotten results, and we want to get you to a point where you can land your dream job as well. So in addition to being with us on Saturday for classes, we give you assignments to work on. We're also going to be with you on Wednesday as well, right? We have what we call a check-in call. So if you're struggling with what we did on Saturday, come and join us on Wednesday. We look at what you're doing, we assist you. And Cloudboosta is all about that support and encouragement that we give you along the way to ensure that you succeed. And just like I said, there's a lot of support for your career as well. CV review, job interview simulation session, LinkedIn upgrade training, special certification preparation materials, and of course, along the way, you're building your soft skills as well, because you cannot be a cloud DevOps engineer in isolation. You need to be able to know how to work with your key stakeholders and also other cloud DevOps engineers as well. I bring you a testimonial from one of our former students, our graduates, Bukola, who said Cloudboosta was her first exposure to tech. And what she said is, I love the teaching style because there was a lot of emphasis on supporting me on my journey. From simple workbooks to one-on-one guidance to CV building. I completed my training in April 2023, and I have not even gotten my cloud certification yet, but I landed a job in a notable company. So these are some of our graduates that got, high-paying jobs after they finished. And there are lots of them, and that's just one example. And the more you interact with us, you attend our webinars, you see us bringing them. Tobi is one of our alumni as well, who is doing really well in the cloud sales space. In terms of requirements, we need you to have a really good laptop. We're not using mobile phones, right? We use laptop with all the requirements above, which we'll still send to you. Other requirements is that we want you to be comfortable with the general use of a computer. We want you to be ready to devote extra hours. Don't say, Gbemisola, just come to class on Saturday. We need you to put in extra hours during the week as well to ensure you finish your program. And we want you to be very passionate about this transition and be ready to give it everything it takes. So finally, some of you have asked questions around what are we offering you and how much is it? I will get to that now. So every single thing I've talked about, your training is going to be intense. It's fully virtual. You don't need to be in a physical location. Whatever time zone you are, we use the UK time zone because we're primarily based in the UK. And we've had students join us from all over the world. Saudi Arabia, South Africa, America, Canada, just work with that time zone. And then of course, you're going to build strong technical skills with us at Cloudboosta, learning how to build solutions on the cloud. You're going to get access to our fully guided lab session. You're going to learn all these different tools I spoke about, right? You're going to be involved. You're going to be in engaging class sessions. You get to interact with cloud DevOps professionals who are actually practicing. They answer your question every single time you interact with them on Saturdays. You have access to Cloudboosta community as well, career support services, all the tools you learn, AWS, Linux, Python, Git, Jenkins, Terraform, from scratch. You don't need to know what these things are, but they are in high demand and recruiters are looking for people with all the skills. So these are all the things that you stand to gain. And of course, if you have further questions, you can reach out to us. We'll answer everything. Let me just give you one more testimonial as we go along. Omolara is someone who joined us at Cloudboosta and learned everything from scratch. Please listen to our testimony and then we'll go to the offer we have for you today.
My name is Gbemisola and I'm a platform engineer in the UK. I have a liberal degree in English language. It's really refreshing to introduce myself as a platform engineer. And that's all thanks to Cloudboosta, thanks to the training, thanks to the community, and thanks to the ginger by the Cloudboosta. On my second week at work, my manager actually gave me a shout out on the company page. And it meant a lot to me. My manager gave me a task just to test me, and he came back to me and said, I am so pleased that we're able to deliver this. And that's because Cloudboosta has taught me to be that person that is always wanting to learn, always wanting to get better. I work with, a company that does AWS and Azure. And at the moment, I'm even looking up to become Azure to show them that, yes, Cloudboosta has taught me to understand that even though I was trained in AWS, I can always pick up another cloud provider since most companies are adopting multi-cloud systems right now. I've become someone that even on LinkedIn, when people ask me, I'm like, sorry, I don't have time for this. I do not really have time for that because I'm busy right now, and I have a job that makes me feel really wanted. Thank you so much, Cloudboosta, and I'm happy to be a product of your mentorship. Thank you.
So yeah, that's Omalara's story. If you join us today, this is what your journey would look like. For those of you who want to be a part of the Cloud Comprehensive course, you're learning from scratch, the date to get started is 18th of October, just a month away, but you can make that decision now. And look at what your journey would have looked like. By November, you will have been exposed to cloud services that you didn't know before. By December, you'll have understood key DevOps concepts and gained enough hands-on experience, right? By February, you'll have completed your training with us and you will have a public repository of all the projects that you have worked on. Similarly, if you're enrolling for the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course, that's for those of you who have a tech background already, you are starting 20th of October, right? By November, you'll have worked on AWS services as well. By January, you will have completed your program with us, both cloud computing and DevOps, right? So start your transition with us today. Now, because you stayed till the end, some people have dropped off, but you guys are still here. This is what I have for you, a special discount. If you want to be a part of the comprehensive cloud DevOps course, because you stayed till now, you're not going to pay £4,000. You're not even going to pay the rate of £2,500, which is what we offer to some special people again. You guys are super special. You stayed till the end. So we're going to give you the comprehensive cloud DevOps course for just £2,300. This is a 20 weeks program. It is an amazing investment you're making in your career. I've got for trainings that for just one day of training, I pay £2,500. There are many trainings like that, but this, you're going to be with us for 20 weeks, holding your hands all through the journey, 9 to 5 p.m. every Saturday for an investment of £2,300. It is an amazing offer that you should not let it slide. The offer expires 6 p.m. on Friday, September 26th. And to qualify for this discount, you have to pay your first deposit of £800 within 24 hours. And of course, if you cannot meet up with that, you're only still going to pay £2,500 anyway, because you attended the webinar. You're not going to pay £4,000. Classes start on 18th of October. And for those of you who already have a tech background, you are going for the Cloud DevOps Accelerator course that is, starting on 20th of October. And it's only for 15 weeks. Again, you're not paying £2,000 for this program. You're paying less than £1,000 for 15 weeks training. Again, this is such an amazing investment in your career that you can easily afford to make. So please reach out to us. Think about the value you will get for the investment you're making. Think about how you'll be able to transition into a brand new field entirely without any background, and you begin to start earning, making money for yourself. And of course, the trajectory of cloud computing is on an all-time high. Today, I was still checking my LinkedIn profile because I'm trying to make some interesting career moves. I went back to my LinkedIn profile and I was checking. I was like, oh my God, look at the volume of recruiters that have reached out to me in the last 4 years of, since post-COVID. And of course, I've been in this field for over 7 years. It's incredible. And I'm like, let me start reaching out to them one after the other to just build that relationship again. That's how it's going to be for you when you get into this highly in-demand field. And then finally, if you're interested in any of those 2 programs I told you about, please reach out to any of our program advisors. Just send the word webinar discount. That's our code word. We will know that you attended the webinar and you're part of us. So reach out to us using any of those numbers. And then also, we actually have a free Cloud DevOps Bootcamp happening tomorrow. Right? If you want to just have a better taste, better feel of what your journey in cloud will look like, please join us tomorrow for our cloud computing program. It's a free DevOps, Cloud DevOps Bootcamp. We build solutions. It just gives you an idea of what the classes at Cloudboosta looks like. It's completely free of charge. Scan this QR code to register and join us tomorrow. We have a lot of people who have shown interest in this already, so spaces are filling up very fast. Again, whatever it is you're interested in, just send a message to us send a message to any of our program advisors and we will get you registered. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of you. The bootcamp is not compulsory. If you're ready to go for the training, just sign up directly. If you want to come for the bootcamp tomorrow, please go ahead and come. We're looking forward to welcoming you either way. And thank you so much. I know it's been a long evening, but wanted to answer all your questions. I wanted to, give you this special offer. So please reach out to us again, reach out to any of program advisors. If you still have any further questions, be a part of the community. Be on the lookout for all the webinars that we have every Friday. There's always something happening at Cloudboosta. So please stay connected and please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for your time and see you in our DMs. Enjoy your Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Goodbye. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.